Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, grade 5. In today's ICT lecture from chapter number 1, Evolution Computers, we'll study about the 5 generations of computer. Generation means the history of computer development is referred to with respect to different generations of computer. The size of the computers has decreased drastically, and the speed, storage capacity, and reliability have increased manifold. Each generation of computer is marked by a major technological development. Generation means, for example, our generation, our parents' generation, our forefathers' generation. A particular time period with so many years in which they were something, and then in the other generation, like generation number 2, when it comes, the things were completely different. So this makes them a bit different. For example, generation of your generation and then your father's generation, there's a big difference in between both of them. There is a difference, like what they used to do, you don't do it now. They didn't have technology, you have it now. They didn't have computers, you have it now. So the difference in between generation is made when things become different from one decade to another decade. A generation can be of a decade or 2 decades, or it depends on how the changes come, how the things have changed, how the revolution begins. So first of all, we'll have the first generation of computer, which was from 1951 to 1959. It was the generation of vacuum tubes. They were very expensive and big in size. The processing speed was also very slow. Example of first generation computers are UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer, and ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. ENIAC was the first computer developed. Now look at these computers. Do they look computer from any side? No, they don't look computers. So basically, the first generation of computer had a lot more difference. The computers doesn't look the way they are. There are some big machineries which require a complete room and which require air conditions and different things because they heat up. And these were actually not called computers. They were called vacuum tubes. And there are certain names of vacuum tubes like ENIAC, UNIVAC, and ENIAC was the first computer developed. Like in the history of computers, it was the very first thing. Then we have the second generation of computer. Second generation of computer includes transistors. Transistors were now replaced by vacuum tubes. No, vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors. I'm really sorry. There were vacuum tubes which require a complete room, which were very big in size, and now we have transistors which were like a bit smaller in size, and they were faster and cheaper. Because how a thing can become faster and cheaper, in something you have a lot of material used, it is very big in size, it will be expensive. When you're using some less material, it is smaller in size, you can have to give less money. For example, after the first generation of computer, in second generation it was IMB 1401, etc. Second generation computer moved from machine language to assembly language, which allowed programs to specify instruction in words. Machine language is something we cannot understand. Assembly language is something which we understand. For example, these alphabets, numbers, and keys and everything, this is our language. Or the language I'm speaking is assembly language, understandable between humans. But if I'll come up with machine language, for example, binary code 01110, you will not understand, neither will I. So first of all, in vacuum tubes, we didn't have any kind of language. We had machine language, exactly, not assembly language. That was missing. Things were not understandable by humans because it had binary codes and machine languages. But now, through assembly language, we can understand the functions and instructions we are going to do on the computer. Then we have third generation. It started from 1965 to 1971, and this generation had integrated circuits. Smaller in size, like first of all we had vacuum tubes, bigger. Then we have transistors, a bit smaller. Now we have integrated circuits, way more smaller. Now you'll start looking at it that this is somewhere close to the computer. Not exactly like a computer, but it has a monitor, it has some sort of mouse, a different kind of a mouse, it has a keyboard. So now it is nearby looking to some computers. For example, integrated circuits were IMB 360 and Apple IIc. The speed was increased, it was more efficient, it had keyboard, it had monitor, just like I told you and you can see in the picture. Then we have fourth generation of computer from 1971 till today. This is these personal computers, this is these PCs, these desktop computers which we have in front of us. Large scale integration, the another name, the technical name of these computer is large scale integration and microprocessors. They have small chips in it, they consume less space, they don't get uh, warm, or they don't have this thing of like we need a big room to accommodate them. For example, the Intel 4004 is a microprocessor. They have chips in it which have memory, which have processors which do work. They're more efficient, they are good in speed. They have a CPU, they have input output controls, they are powerful. They have, first we have one transistor, but this single computer has so many transistors in it. Then example I've given you, Intel 4004 and Intel 8080. These are the names, technical names of computers and the processors. Now this was way more faster, cheaper, smaller, it's easier to use, it has assembly language, it works in a very good and efficient way, and it has processors. Processors, microprocessors means a small chip, micro means small, a chip in it which works, not like we have to get a very big thing, a computer in our house to work. Small things in a corner can be placed and you can work. The fifth generation of computer is artificial intelligence, on which scientists and researchers are still working, making robots. Like beside computers, now we can have robots with us who can work for us. We'll just ask to bring us something to do this function and robot will immediately reply. Like in some parts of the world we have the experiment of a robot or something, but they are not very common, so this is yet to be discovered. Types of computer: supercomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer, microcomputer. Supercomputer are, you can see on your screens, are the most powerful computers in the world. They have a very large strong capacity and high processing speed. They are used mainly in weather forecasting, launching of rockets. Now these are some big computers, don't have them in your house because they are used for very scientific and very different kind of purposes. For example, Cray 1 or Beowulf. These computers have a very big high processing unit. They are like used for weather forecasting or rocket launching or something. They are technically worked. They are not like personal computers where we can draw or paint things on it. Then we have mainframe computer. Mainframe computers are less powerful and less expensive than supercomputer. They are used in big organizations such as banks, large industries. These are also used for technical purposes, for example, industries, banks, hospitals, and these things, not home or some or a little bit small office or for some childish task, like you don't watch video games or play movies on these computers. They are used for technical work. For example, IBM 390 and Z900. Then we have mini computer. Mini computers are the computers which we use in offices, which people can work on it together. For example, they're smaller in size and they are like PDP-8 or WAX. These are again the technical names of computers. Then we have microcomputer. Microcomputer is the computer we are using these days. Easily use, we can use them, we can understand them. They're not like complex, or they don't have high processing units like supercomputers or mainframe computers or any other computer. They're also called PC, personal computer, digital computer, or desktop computer. Then we have laptop. Laptop provides mobile computing technology. For example, portable, you can take it everywhere you want. It doesn't have to be connected to electricity. You can charge it. They're small in size and they fit on the lap of a user. For example, lap means these thighs. You can place it over you and you can use. On the other hand, this is harmful. You should not be doing it. But I'm explaining you the size of a laptop. You cannot place a computer in your lap, but you can place a laptop in your lap very easily. Then handheld pocket PC. These are the mobile phones you're carrying in your hands. They use an electronic writing pad, the touch screen, and they have a sensitive screen that can be harmed. If you throw a mobile or you drop it, then the screen will be destroyed. Then what else? Homework: do exercise A, B, C, E, G on your book and do part D on your notebook. So A, B, C, E and G on your book and part D on your notebook from your chapter number 1. Thank you so much.